I just feel like that what the administration is doing is nothing short of a very overt sense of vote buying, trying to pay off and get the votes of about 40 million young Americans and tell them, we're going to pay off your student debt. Please vote for us.
Did your parents ever tell you that money doesn't grow on trees? Well, in 2022, they might actually be proven wrong. Because if you have a student loan you don't feel like paying off, you can now log on with the millions of other people jamming the government's student loan website. $10,000 to $20,000 can be wiped off your payment due account if you can just get through and apply for the write-down. Of course, the money hasn't grown on trees. It's been paid by working Americans who pay taxes each year. And President Biden thinks it's a smart idea to take from those who can pay and give it to those who don't want to pay anymore. Common sense appears to have left the White House, but we at TBN are fortunate enough to have a former presidential candidate, successful governor, and TBN host ready to bring his common sense to the table right now. Joining us from Nashville, Governor Mike Huckabee. Governor, welcome.
Well, thank you very much, Eric, and what a nice introduction. I don't get those these days that often. I mostly just get called Sarah's dad, but that's fine too. But what a pleasure to visit with you. And you know, people are upset about this student loan situation, especially the people who worked hard to pay their own student loans or worked hard to go through college, people like me who now feel like a chump for having paid my way through school by working 40 hours a week, so I didn't have a student debt. Or how about those people that, well, they wanted to go to college, but they couldn't afford it. And now they're paying for their neighbor across the street who's laughing at them because their loans are being wiped out. And this poor guy, he's having to pay for his neighbor who's probably making a lot more money than he is.
Yeah, Governor, you know, I graduated college in 1999. I was about 20 years too soon, I guess. I played 2 years of college basketball. Then I paid my last 2 years. My parents said, look, you're going to pay student loans. I did that. My wife did that. We didn't have this situation that we have now. What do you think this tells kids today, young people today, about, I don't know, personal responsibility, accepting consequences for your actions? This seems to send the wrong message.
I think you're exactly right, Eric. The message that it's sending is, go ahead and do what you want, take all the benefits you can, and if you get in a situation, it's not that you can't pay it, it's that you just don't want to, because you'd rather be able to get daily lattes at Starbucks. You'd rather add, a new component to your Game Boy, or you'd really rather take a vacation or buy a new vehicle, and you just don't want to pay that student loan. So don't do it. Because the good old government will show up one day and just wipe it off the books, and then you don't have to worry about it. But it is breeding irresponsibility, a reckless irresponsibility. I don't have any problem if the government wanted to come back in and said, look, let's restructure your loan. We'll extend the terms. We'll lower the interest rate. But this idea that you're just going to wipe it out, it is an incredibly insensitive thing to do, because it's an insult to all the people who pay their loans. Eric, I'd also go this far. Why stop at student loans? Why not go and pay off people's car loans? Or what about people's business loans? There are a lot of people who are in business. They took out loans to get their business going. Businesses struggled. Why not pay those off? Wouldn't it be just as right? And I just feel like that what the administration is doing is nothing short of a very overt sense of vote buying, trying to pay off and get the votes of about 40 million young Americans and tell them, we're going to pay off your student debt. Please vote for us.
Yeah, you know, Governor, the administration has been very busy as of late. Today, the heavily redacted version of the affidavit related to the Mar-a-Lago raid earlier this month was released by the Department of Justice. What are your initial thoughts about the release, and what's the end game here, Governor? Does the Biden administration ultimately want to pursue an indictment against former President Trump?
Oh, I think there's no doubt that since 2016, ever since he came down the escalator at Trump Tower, they've been pursuing a way to get rid of him. We saw what happened with Crossfire Hurricane, which was a disastrous abuse of government power. FBI agents and others lied. They lied about Donald Trump and a collusion with Russia to get us a warrant, a FISA warrant. Turned out there was nothing there. There was no Russia collusion. We spent $35 million on a special investigation with Bob Mueller trying to prove there might have been. There wasn't. I'm convinced that there were things in those documents that revealed some of the corruption at the highest levels of the FBI. Maybe President Trump had those in the boxes, and those guys wanted to go down there and dig that stuff out. We may never know because, as you mentioned, this was heavily redacted. About 20 of the 38 pages in that affidavit are totally obliterated, completely redacted, can't see those. I'm sure that the net result is going to be this. People who hate Trump will say this proves he's a criminal. And those of us who think that he's been given a raw deal from the beginning, we're going to say, you mean all of this? 30 armed agents rifling through every paper he had, taking his passports, going through and breaking into his safe and rifling through Melania's dress closet, that was all justified for some pieces of paper that weren't so urgent. You knew months in advance of things you thought he might have that should have gone to the archives, but you wait until 6 o'clock on a Monday morning when he's not there. You break into his home like he's guilty of drug charges, and you make a spectacle, and you somehow misread the public and think everybody will be cool with that.
Yeah. Governor, we've got about a minute left. Shifting gears real quick to foreign policy, the Biden administration also looks prepared to sign that Iran nuclear deal. It now appears imminent. A revived version of this deal. Republican lawmakers, Israeli leaders say it's a disaster. What are your thoughts on this looming Iran deal?
One of the great things Donald Trump did do as president was completely get us out of that Iran deal. We never should have gotten into it. The basic question comes down to this, and there's a reason that the Israelis and I think many people, even Democrats, think this is a bad idea, is that the only way this deal works is if you trust the Iranians and you trust that when they tell you something that it's the truth and they would never game you. I don't trust them. I think anyone who's observed them can't. Why Joe Biden does trust them will remain a mystery to me.
Hi, I'm Doug McKelway, and thank you for watching Centerpoint. We hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and tap the bell icon so you're notified every time a new video is posted. Leave a comment below and keep the conversation going by sharing this video with a friend who needs to see it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you back here tomorrow.